Good morning. Wait, it's noon already.
部活始めの挨拶はおはようだよ。バイトだって同じでしょ?
I nod with a weak smile. The Ubon festival is over and the Tenkuru's club activities start today. I went to school after having lunch. I took a look inside the club room and found that Asuho had arrived already. She told us that club activities start during the evenings, so why did she turn up this early? I ask her and Asuho replies embarrassingly.
少しでも早くようちゃんに会いたかったから。
Aww. Is there something wrong with my face? Because Asuho suddenly bursts out laughing.
冗談だよ。前にようちゃんに似たようなこと言われてからかわれたから。
I said something similar.
ようちゃん、今日から活動だってちゃんと覚えてたんだね。偉い偉い。
She's acting like an older sister. She's sticking her chest out in pride for some reason. I feel uneasy at the thought that she might brush my head, going by her tone. Just like what I do with Mare.
ようちゃんはなんで早く来たの?
It's because I have to talk with Kusame. Though my slight hope that she would also be waiting for me out of consideration seems to have been crushed. After the events of last night, we took Hisakaki to the hospital. Her dad happened to be on duty, so we had him treat her. As one would have expected from a father, he was persistent and asked what happened a countless number of times. Whereas Hisakaki insisted that nothing had happened. Her mood got worse each time he asked. In the end, she just went "Humph," like a spoiled child. Having grown used to his daughter's attitude, he gave up on pursuing any further. After treating her wound, he diagnosed that it would take 2 weeks for it to recover completely. I was relieved when he said there wouldn't be any scars, though Hisakaki's expression didn't really change. In any case, my wounds aren't a big deal either. All I have to do is to take some medicine. Kusame hadn't woken up even when our examinations finished. Hisakaki used the hospital room and apparently stayed overnight at the hospital with Kusame. I've been wondering since last night as to what the two sisters might have been talking about. I haven't contacted them yet.
他のみんなが集まるまで時間あるし、私と先に天体観測やっちゃう?
Asuho makes a cheerful suggestion. Can we, even though it's not nighttime?
昼の天体観測はね、太陽黒点なんかを観測するんだよ。太陽を直視しないよう気をつけながらね。
Well, that does sound fascinating. Sorry, I have to wait for Kusame-san.
小雨ちゃん?
Yeah.
小雨ちゃんも早く来るの?
Early or not, I know she's definitely coming. If what Hisakaki said at the lookout was true, Kusame will face me. She shouldn't be running away. It's not as if Kusame had attacked Mare because she wanted to.
失礼.
The door to the club room opens. I thought it was going to be Kusame, but the one who drops by is Hisakaki.
もう来てるとは思わなかったわ。ちょっと、なんでこももちゃんが部室に?
However, her stiffened shoulders lose their tension almost immediately.
どうしたのその手? 別にどうもしないわ。
The area between the base of her fingers and her wrist is wrapped up in bandages. As it needs 2 weeks to recover completely, she'll be able to take them off by the time the second term starts. Until then, however, it's probably extremely inconvenient for her. I'm almost certain she came here to demand something of me. Become my hand or something. We both get startled by Asuho's loud voice.
どうもしないわけないじゃない。どう見ても大怪我だよそれ。なんであなたが怒ってるのよ。怒ってない。心配しただけ。
I'm surprised since Asuho of all people is saying this.
まあ、腐っても小雨ちゃんのお姉さんだしね。
She adds a bad part to the end.
まあ、腐ってもクラス委員だから心配してるんでしょうけど。
Both of them are acting awkwardly.
皆星さんとはクラス違うけどね。クラス違っても心配するのも天文学的確率であるかもね。
These two are actually pretty friendly with each other.
って皆星さんはどうでもいいのよ。どうでもいいってなんだよ。小笠坂くん、あなたと話がしたいって人がいるんだけど。
I nod. I had planned to do so too. Kusame steps out from behind Hisakaki with a grave expression.
今さら許してもらおうとは思っていません。ただ、私はもう二度とメアさんに手をかけることはいたしません。
That's good to hear.
それだけ。 伝えたかったんです。
She cuts straight to the point and finishes off with a deep bow.
アスホさん。
Asuho is standing there absent-mindedly, not keeping up with the conversation.
こんな時間にアスホさんまでいるとは思わなかったんですが。なんか扱いが存在だよ。ですがちょうどよかったです。
I know what Kosama is about to say.
私は部員に迷惑をかけてしまいました。ですから今日限りでテンクルを。
Wait. I understand Kosama's feelings, so this isn't the only option. It seems that I can forgive you after all, Kosama-san.
いいんです、姉さん。
However, I can't have you quitting the club.
子がよ。
Hisakaki gives me a bloodthirsty look, so I quickly continue. I cannot forgive her, however, I won't condemn her either. I want to try and forgive Kosama-san.
臭いセリフ。
I don't need any commentary. So, to work towards that, it's a little embarrassing to say this straightforwardly. Can you stay as fellow member of the Tenkuru? And as a friend? But it doesn't feel awkward at all when I tell her that I want to renew our friendship. Kosama's expression of surprise quickly turns into a smile. Kosama doesn't actually cry, but I feel that she really is crying. I get the impression they're different tears compared to last night.
だったらこれはもう必要ないのね。
Hisakaki snatches the resignation form that Kosama was hiding behind her back and rips it up.
ここに置いてけぼりの人が一人。
It's our vice president with a pitiful look on her face.
皆星さん、お詫びにこれあげるわ。
Hisakaki casually brings out a sheet of paper. At first glance, it looks like the resignation form that Kosama was holding until just moments ago. However, its contents are completely different.
私、今日からテンクルに
What?
入るから。
Awesome! It's Hisakaki's entrance form. Asuho's surprise goes through the roof.
正式には2学期からだけど、それまでは仮入部扱いでお願いするわ。小雨は大丈夫としても、また夕べみたいな事故が起こるとも限らないからね。テンクルが展望台に勝手に入って問題を起こす恐れだってあることだし。だからこれはあなたたちを監督するって意味よ。
Saying that, Hisakaki looks away, seemingly displeased.
そういうわけでよろしく。
After Asuho's mouth opens and closes,
こももちゃんがテンクルに入る？監督？
then she puts on a bitter look.
そんなの誰も頼んでな。
Asuho. I cover her mouth. It's better to have more members. It means that we won't be in danger of getting abolished. Asuho doesn't give any indication as to whether she listened or not. She's completely silent. It just so happens that I'm holding Asuho from behind. Asuho's face turns bright red. How many times have I been making the same mistake? Sorry.
臭い展開。平和ですね。
As Kosama states, I believe this is a sign that we've returned to our peaceful daily lives. It's Monday, 3rd of September. The new semester starts today. She finishes getting ready for school and before leaving the room, opens the drawer of her desk. Her drawer, which was usually locked, has 2 cards stored inside. Both of them appear old and worn out. The words written in pencil were also starting to fade away in some places. However, they're still legible. She picks up a card and reads it.
友達になりたいか。
That's what was written. In primary school, she had made it during roll call for Tanabata.
友達か。
Back then, she wanted to become friends with him. She was always worried about him because he refrained from making friends and erected a wall that gave him a difficult to approach atmosphere. She wanted to talk and play with him normally, not simply watch him from afar. She had embodied that wish in this card. Yo's name wasn't written on it. She was still little and found it embarrassing, thus she made it so that others wouldn't be able to figure out who she wanted to befriend. Why did she find it embarrassing? She didn't want to get teased by her classmates. She didn't want people to question why she was so concerned about Yo. That's how painful those feelings were. She couldn't comprehend those feelings at the time.
子供だったんだよね。
A mere child who had yet to realize what love was, couldn't express her emotions clearly. That's why she thought that wanting to be friends was all there was to it. That wish had been carried forth over time and was finally granted in Hibari-ko. But not in its truest sense. Now that she's matured, she's able to make sense of the feelings she held at the time. Yes, she had wanted to become friends. However, that wasn't all. She had certainly desired something more as a child. And thus, these memories of her first love have come back to possess her. Because she now understands that he was her first love, she has also come to realize his feelings. The way he treasures his memories, she now understands it by comparing her own feelings to how he clings onto his memories of the girl from the lookout. She realizes the weight and extent of her feelings, and the pain that comes with it. Asuho is pained from realizing that, similar to herself, he has the girl from the lookout in his heart. And she's completely helpless about it.
分かってたことじゃない。
That's why she doesn't pursue any further. She's content with simply being his friend. She's happy they can stargaze together. It's fine if they don't become a couple. If she goes out with him, that would be the equivalent of him casting aside his precious memories. It's the same as giving up on the girl from the lookout. It'll surely be sad. She knows this by comparing it to herself, since Yo-chan bears the same feelings that I have. Are you sure that's the same feelings? There are 2 wish cards in her drawer. One was her own when she was little, and the other one belonged to Yo.
行こう。
She closes the drawer. After locking it, she grabs her school bag and leaves her room. Leaving her house, she puts on her usual smile as she walks up Yume Misaka, a smile as bright as the sun. If she acts all depressed, she'll affect the smiles of her classmates. And Yo-chan will get worried. That's why she puts on a sunny face. That's the stance that she has taken ever since she met him at Hibarigasaki again. I kind of have the feeling that we are on Asuho's route now. Could it be? I mean, I don't mind. I like Asuho. Yume Misaka is painted with the colors of Hibariko's uniforms. After a long summer holiday, the second semester starts today. Taking a fresh start to the new semester, I leave for school earlier than the usual, cutting it close time, and spot the back of someone I know. Yo, Asuho! She stops in surprise at my voice.
Yo-chan!
Good morning. Asuho stiffens up without greeting me back. What's wrong? Was it that surprising? She laughs it off for some reason.
そりゃあね、こんな時間にようちゃんと会うとは思わないもん。
It's a new term after all. Things won't be like the first term.
ちなみちゃんは
She hasn't woken up, so I left her.
それで早いんだね。
I've turned over a new leaf.
もう、ちなみちゃんがかわいそうだよ。
It's her fault for fooling around during the summer holidays. I'd end up being late too if I waited for her. If I went home now, Chinami will be the angry one instead. So I'll be going to school around this time.
そっか。
Asuho is unusually restless today.
じゃあ、しばらくは私と一緒に登校になるのかな。
Are you always this early, Asuho? That makes it the 2 of us then.
うん。
She nods happily, yet somewhat worriedly.
私と一緒でもいいの？
Of course! I wasn't expecting to hear that from her. I don't see why not. Why did she ask something like that?
うん。
She's acting a bit weird this morning. Speaking of which, this is the first time that I'm going to school with you.
うん。
She puts on a puppy face in the blink of an eye. No?
うん。間違っ
We've gone to school together before?
うん。した。
Have we?
忘れてると思ったけど、
I can't seem to remember it.
土曜スクールの時に一緒だったじゃない。
Now that you mention it, it didn't feel like school, so I forgot about it.
ようちゃんってさ、やっぱり
Asuho surveys me.
小学生の時からあんまり変わってないのかもね。ようちゃんが大切なのは展望台だけなのかもね。
I give her a light smile. That's not true at all.
本当かな。
Yeah, I tell her confidently. I certainly didn't have anyone I was able to consider a friend back in primary school, but things are different now. I treasure the lookout because she who became my friend was there. Nothing more, nothing less. That's why I now treasure school.
そっか。
Yeah,
展望台は大切なままなんだよね。
well, of course. Asuho's voice sounds forlorn, yet she has her usual smile on.
それでこそようちゃんだね。
Following the lengthy assembly, classes end before noon since it's the first day back. The first day is similar to that attendance day we had during the holidays. Regular lessons resume tomorrow.
あすほさん、今日はテンクルの活動どうしますか？そうだね。お昼食べてから決めよっか。
んじゃ、俺も一緒するかな。
アスカさんもお昼を食べたらおかけんの活動ですか？
おうよ、図書室で調べ物だ。
ちょうど当番は私ですから、開けるまで待っていてくださいね。
Kosame went through a lot this past summer holidays. Despite that, Kosame has been hanging out with us normally during Tenkuru's club activities after the Obon festival. Kosame-san, you still have librarian duties today?
はい。と言っても、受付は他の方ですから、部活には出られますよ。図書室自体も3時くらいには閉まりますから。
じゃあ調べ物の後は聞き込みだな。
青春ですね、アスカさん。不健全な青春だな。部活に規制はありませんよ、ハスオさん。
But in Asuka's case, he's still in a circle.
違いって言ったら部室と部員数くらいなもんじゃねえか。
他にもあるよ。念願の部費がもらえるんだから。
Asuho's eyes sparkle. The Tenkuru is a club now since we're in the second semester, right?
はい。今頃お姉さんが部活会議に出席しているはずですから、そこで正式に認められると思います。後で部費もらいに行こっと。
We might have to come up with a new club name.
天体観測愛好サークルがついに天体観測愛好部になるんですね。
略して天部か。
It doesn't sound quite right.
そうだよね。馴染めないっていうか、私たちはずっとテンクルでしたからね。
そのまま変えないって手もあるんじゃねえか。
名前に部をつけなきゃいけない規則はないと思いますし、可能かもしれませんね。それじゃあテンクルのままでいくっか。
Asuho readily accepts it. Are you sure about that?
ようちゃんは反対？
Well, I'm personally fine with it. What about you?
むしろ嬉しいかなって。天文部は私たちの代でテンクルと呼ばれるようになった。いい思い出になると思わない？ひばり校の歴史にも名前が残りますね。どう？ようちゃん。
That's great.
だよね。
つうか、勝手に決めていいのかよ。部長は岡泉先輩だろ。
先輩も絶対賛成してくれるよ。
It's lucky to have such a positive upperclassman.
ネガティブな先輩なら嘆きそうですけどね。でもどっちにしろ反対はしないんじゃないかな。
Things seem to be decided already.
テンクルは今後もテンクルとして活動していくことをここに誓います。
Asuho declares an oath like how sportsmen swear to play fairly before matches.